What's up, everybody? Hope everybody's doing good. Have us another interesting conversation if we can. If we can get some people to chime in, that'd be good. If not, as always, it'll be a little shorter stream. I'm okay with conversating with some people for a little bit, but obviously the goal of this is to make sure we're having some interesting conversations. The goal for me is not necessarily to change anybody's belief, but just to make people be honest about their belief. I feel like that is a more obtainable goal. So that is what I try to do. Whatever you believe, whether it's in ghosts, goblins, ghouls, whatever, just be honest about it. And if you can't prove it, just state it. That is kind of how I go about it. Anyone that knows me, I am very interested in all things that are supernatural or could be supernatural. I have no proof of anything ever being supernatural, but I am still interested in it. Just like I have no proof of there being aliens, but I watched the hell out of some alien stuff. So, with that, let us get going today. So, hey guys, hello humans. I'm Jay. Welcome back to another one. I'm trying different lighting and different stuff until I just like it. I'm weird like that. I don't know. I'm so weird that it might be different every time. I just don't like the same thing all the time. So with that, now we're in dark mode. As you see, looks a little bit darker. I think it looks cooler, but tomorrow I might not think it looks cooler. So that's just how I am. So hey, Goodwit, what's up? What's up? Welcome. So if we could get a caller instantly in, I would love that. If we can't, we'll kind of go over the topic, right? It's right there. Jesus' story doesn't make sense. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. So I don't think it makes sense. With that, as we kind of get into it, you guys let me know how your day was. Anything interesting happened for you? Excuse me. Anything interesting happened for you guys? Let me know. I'm always interested. Any supernatural things happen to you guys? Let me know. Don't forget to click your buttons, please, because it helps. And that's all I can say on that. I need to make sure the link is still working correctly. So let me do that as well. Make sure we got the correct Discord link. That way everybody is running smooth. As you see here, look, I'm by myself in Discord, so call on in. Yeah, Buck said Buck's going to a concert. So good for you, buddy. Hey, the fact that you're watching me while getting ready for a concert, hey, I take some that's a compliment to me, man. So tell Mrs. Buck hello. Did you get in trouble yesterday for saying God is limited? Did you guys talk about that last night? I think that's awesome in a relationship, by the way. It's one of the things I love about me and my wife. Like, we can have these kind of deep conversations and think opposite on some things, think closely on some things, and we're still able to have a awesome relationship. So I was actually talking about that with one of my buddies at work today. So I don't know, it's a special thing if you're able to kind of have these kind of conversations. She thought you were spouting BS. Yeah, that's cool, man. And you guys still could go to sleep at night. That's good. You're here, so you didn't get hit on the top of the head. So all good. So yeah, man. Let me see what I have on the topic list for today. Like, what are we starting with? Hold on, sorry. I got my screens all. You see me looking over here. I got dual monitors, so I'm kind of like staring over here. So she's why you're alive. Hey, like to hear it, man. Cool. All right, so let's see. A lot of these topics I'm trying to tie into each other. So, like the fact, there's some contradictions, obviously, right? When we're talking about Jesus, and I know Jesus is a very sensitive topic for everyone that is a believer, even people that aren't a believer, right? Jesus is famous, so we'll just put it that way. So you have stuff like Christians saying Jesus is God, but Jesus prays to God, right? Jesus submits to God. Jesus says the Father is greater than him, right? Some of these things will tie into the other things we said today, but those kind of defeat the whole narrative. And you have to start making up excuses, but now you're talking against Jesus. And that's why this subject is so powerful here. Because if I say Jesus said it and it's in the little red letters in the Bible, how are you talking against what Jesus said, right? I mean, I know Paul did. I have some videos up on that where Paul is the true leader of this religion. Almost everybody that I know, at least, follows Paul's teachings and not Christ's teachings. So that's always a very interesting thing. So, like I said, I invite you guys to call in. Let me know where you disagree. Let's see if that link is working. Sorry for not having any new videos today. After yesterday, it just I don't know. I just went and laid down. Usually I would work on some videos after the stream, but I truly I was just laid down. So apologize for that. I got a couple videos coming out tomorrow that are some clips from the lives, some of the good conversations we've had. I want to make sure I'm using those as much as possible because sometimes people can't make the stream, but you guys have been supporting the channel a lot, and I appreciate that. Like, we're almost to 2K subs. The last 28 days, it said I've gained over 300 subscribers. So, shit, yeah. Thank you, guys. That's pretty awesome. I will not take that lightly, right? I know I'm not the big channel, but hey, that's pretty freaking cool for me. So, to start out, usually, even if you do agree a little bit, and if you want to just come chat with me, that also is great to kind of chat it up. Hopefully, we can get somebody that disagrees and maybe get them to be a little bit more honest. Better like since I've kind of almost always made some kind of content. Like I think there was a few years I just stopped doing it, but I've always made content. So for me, I just automatically know to support the videos that you like, right? What's weird though is I get the it's always weird to me. So this is how I handle videos I watch. If I just don't like the video at all, I don't comment on it. If I disagree with you, I'll comment on it. And obviously, if I agree with you, I'll probably comment on it as well. But I have people that comment that just say they don't like the video, right? They don't say they don't like what I said or anything like that. So it's funny to me that somebody takes out the time to write a comment on a video that they just don't like at all, right? And it's not saying that you have to agree with me or whatever, but it's just interesting to me that people do that. Do you guys do that? I don't know. If you do it, let me know and let me know why. But it seems strange to me. Right? Is it like eating at a restaurant? I don't know. I don't even like if I don't like the restaurant, bro. I just don't go back. You would have to do something so horrible for me to write a review, I guess. A bad review, right? Anyways, I am a weirdo, so I could be the outlier in this situation. But I was just looking at some of the comments lately, and it's just funny. It's just like hilarious. Pretty funny. That let's see here. What are some other things that I don't know, man. The thing that gets me the most when I'm looking at the Jesus story here is you can't be equal to something that you submit to. So it's really strange that Jesus like submits to God's will, and then that just changes all of a sudden. It's like we just forget about that for some reason. And that's really strange to me. What are y'all's thoughts on that one? Or does everybody here right now just agree with this shit? So like everybody disagrees. So it's just like, yeah, you're right, bro. It doesn't make sense. I don't know. Right, but there are times where Jesus says Jesus is God, right? Right, but see, I'm not the person like if here's the thing with me, guys. Either we're gonna take the story as a real story, just like, and I always bring up Harry Potter, right? You don't add shit to Harry Potter. You just watch the story, you listen to the story, and you come up with things. And your fan fiction wouldn't be good if it doesn't fit the story, right? So let's just look at the story for what it is, man. Jesus contradicts himself, right? Like if Jesus is God or and human, there's points in time where Jesus acts like he's submissive to God, and then there's points of time where he doesn't need God, right? Like we have to be like I just want everybody to be honest with the text here and not put what you need into the text, right? And here's the thing too, right? Like it's God, right? So to the fact that anyone says just because God becomes human, he becomes limited, that's just weird, right? It doesn't make sense. Why if God becomes human, it's not still God. God like that humans would still be able to do anything and everything and it would still be God. Right? It doesn't make sense. You could never not be God. Like who's God if you're not? Right? Like who took your place? I feel like all we're doing with some of this stuff is just making it fit our story instead of actually listening to the story. Yes, but I'm saying like even if God stepped into our it's God's realm. Like it's not even our physical realm. It's God. Everything is God according to the story, right? God can't step out of anything. God like it would be impossible for God not to be God. Like it just doesn't make any sense. Like, how can God not be God? I don't know. I'm gonna keep repeating myself here, but that just doesn't make any sense. God cannot be God. Okay. Yeah. Nothing. I mean, obviously, stuff is impossible for God, right? He can't create something that he can't lift. That's the old saying right there, right? Like God can't make some shit that he can't lift or something. Like a rock. Sorry, God can't make a rock that he can't lift. Otherwise, you're not God anymore. Right. So if you're always God, then you like that's my point. So if like I know Buck's saying Jesus wasn't God. It sounds like some of you are saying Jesus was God. Buck, I guess you're saying I guess your story would make more sense. Jesus just wasn't God. That's just plain and simple. Okay, probably in the discussion there. Um, but if God is anyone, then it doesn't really matter. I'm not sure, Goodwit. If you're saying that humans could not hold God, right? Or are you saying that because God stepped into a human? By the way, you can just join the Discord as well. It's easier than typing. I'll promise you that. If you have some stuff to say, I'm definitely willing to listen. It just the story is not adding up. Kind of curious what our Mormon buddy would say. uh, work through us like he would with Jesus. Um, that makes more sense because Jesus says to the disciples that they can or they will be one with God like him, right? I think there's even a verse where Jesus says kind of like we are God. Let me look that up. Corinthians 5:19. All right, let's look that up. Rith 5:19. All right. Why is my shit going so slow? All right. To wit that God was in Christ, reconciling the world unto himself, not imputing their trespasses unto them. God was working through Christ to reconcile the world to himself, not continued sorry, not counting people's sins against them. Let me put this on I'll put this on the notepad so everybody can read it. But that's just, I mean, we're gonna get off topic here, but that just doesn't make sense either, man. Oh, wrong notepad, sorry. Like the fact that God needs to do anything to appease himself is just that's just so weird. Can we at least admit that, please? Like that's just strange, man. God's got to appease himself. That sounds like some ego shit, man. That's some real ego shit. All right, let's see here. Now zoom. All right, so there you go for the verse. All right, at least you're admitting it's weird, man. But what do you? Is it cool or is it just like, oh, people made it up? Oh no, it's like we gotta think about that one, man. Because weird, I get it, but maybe people just made it up and didn't think about anybody contemplating this in the future. They did contemplate it back then. Like, I know there was arguments among early Christians, right? And I mean, that's why you have your Jews as well. They don't believe Jesus was anybody. But it really makes no sense for God to have to appease itself at all. Now, if we're just talking about it like it's a story, I think I agree with you that it's just something, it's some cool stuff to just think about. But if you believe it, I think we have more of a conversation to have, because if you're saying this is true, then that's kind of a different story to me. Yeah, I think that was the verse I was talking about where Jesus says that they can be one, they will be one like the Father, or be like one with the Father as I am, or something. Let me see. And then you get that, like, I think that's where the Gnostics go. I looked into a lot of the Gnostic stuff, and where they're like, no, Jesus was telling us that we can be gods as well, or we are gods. Let's see. Right. So you believe it, but I'm like, how? Like, what do you believe about that story? You believe God sent God's son to die for God? Because he didn't die for us, right? Like, did God die for God? That's interesting. Just saying. God, God's defending our God's protecting us from himself. Oh, that's weird, bro. Why would God need to die for us? That doesn't make any sense. Like, I get the story sound, it actually doesn't even sound as nice to me as it used to sound. It doesn't sound sweet to me. It doesn't sound loving to me. Um when you look at the full picture, nobody needs to die. If I have this all powerful being on my side, no one needs to die. Right? Like, so it's not of a sweet story as it used to be to me. Like, it's really weird, man. And you would never live your everyday life like that. You would not request somebody to die so you could be forgiven. Like, you to be forgiven. That's no one would, like, we don't live our lives that way. And it's so weird. I'm going off of how I used to believe and sharing how I used to believe with people, and hoping other people can be honest as well, because all that happened to me is this: I just became honest. Like, I just became honest. That's it. Like, there's part of me that still have some of this residual beliefs. Like, I don't know who I'm praying to, but I say some prayers sometimes, and I'm talking to myself, but the Bible doesn't make any sense, man. Yeah, if you want to try to call in, that's the Discord there. It's really easy, honestly. But like I said, I'm just trying to make people are trying to hope people be honest about this stuff, man. This story doesn't make sense. You can still believe in something, but this story don't make no damn sense. And the fact that we have to sit here and contemplate and talk about it and try to figure it out also doesn't make sense for a God that died for you, by the way. So God died for you, but then makes it so difficult for you to understand, so you're still not saved. That does not make any sense. That's just weird. That don't make no sense. Yo, channel guide, what's up, man? It doesn't make any sense. You're saying that, like, oh god. All right, well then hop in and explain it to me, man. I just want people to be honest, man. I just wanted some honesty. That's all I want. I'm really not trying to convince anybody because I don't think you can convince anyone, but I just want people to be honest about it. Yeah, but even sin entered in because of God, right? And this is kind of off topic, right? But it's all God's fault. Everything is God's fault. I don't understand how no one says that. Like, I don't understand how this is not all God's fault. It just doesn't make any sense, guys. Like, God, please, let's just be honest about this. You don't have to be on camera, and that's fine. Like, I get it's a sensitive subject because we are all brought up in this, but if we ever are going to evolve and be able to talk about this crap, people would need to be honest about it, man. If God didn't allow, yeah, I mean, that's just another excuse for God messing up, man. I can think of a way that I don't know. I could think of ways that this could be different. People could still, whatever sin means, and nobody would ever get harmed, by the way. You can sin without harming people, right? So we don't, like, this doesn't have to happen. There can still be sin. Like, no, like, literally, no one could get hurt and there would still be sin. Because guess what? God did. God doesn't allow me to fly, right? Why did God restrict me from flying? Like, I don't have wings like a bird. I can't see like a bat. So God obviously does restrictions. So we can't pretend that God just allows us to do anything. God restricts plenty of things. So what is the difference? There's no difference. Well, my thing is, if you were brought up even in the United States, even if your family was atheist, there's so much Christian shit around, you still would have heard of it. But I've never really heard of like from India, right? I've never really heard of their religion, so I almost know I don't know anything about it, right? So the fact that you were brought up in a place where a lot of people are Christian, you can be atheist and you still know this stuff. But if you were born on Mars with nobody ever told you about this, like, do you think you would believe in God still? I mean, it's kind of hard to say, by the way. But I think you're going to be biased a little bit and say yes. But there's some religion right now that you don't know of that you just don't even care to believe in. Somebody asked, "Do I think humans?" So you don't think man is responsible for any of the evil in the world? If there is an all-powerful being that is able to fix everything, that is ultimately the responsible person. That's what I'm saying, right? It's the same thing as if you give your kid a gun and your kid goes and uses the gun and you knew your kid was going to use the gun. Yes, your kid is at fault, but so are you. Both people are to blame. Literally, both people are to blame, but no one blames God at all. Do you blame God? I would love to see it. Go ahead. Say you blame God too, and then I guess we agree. But you won't blame God. You'll blame people, but no one will blame God. Everybody's responsible but God. That doesn't make any sense, guys. That doesn't make any sense. We don't live our lives that way. Like, you expect more out of your government. You expect more out of your leaders. You expect more out of your parents. You expect more out of every single human on earth, but you don't expect shit from God. That's crazy to me that we live that way and people believe that. Like, God doesn't have to do anything. No one cares. Everybody's like, it's everybody else's fault, not this great leader's fault. It's everyone else's fault. That sounds like MAGA people to me. Nobody blames Trump for anything. Like, if you're a Trump supporter, you probably don't blame him for shit. And he does everything perfectly. Like, that's what authoritarianism does. Like, the thought that the most powerful being on earth can't do anything wrong while things are bad, that doesn't, oh my God, that doesn't add up. It gives me a headache. And we don't treat each other that way, by the way. If I did something wrong to you, you automatically throw me out. God does something wrong, well, God didn't really do it wrong. Like, everyone blames everything else besides the creator of the universe. That's insane, man. Like, that gets me on rants, by the way. Like, I get really emotional about that because it's crazy. That's so crazy. Anyways, I shouldn't even say emotional. I get like passionate about that because it doesn't seem logical that we don't treat each other that way. We hold everyone around ourselves responsible, yet we don't hold the most powerful being responsible for anything. I would love somebody to join the Discord and explain that to me, please. The most powerful being in existence is blamed for nothing. That's beyond me. That's crazy. Like, that's insane, man. Start treating everybody else that way then. That's what I would say, Goodwit. Treat all your people, give them the benefit of the doubt then. Or are you saying just because you're the most powerful being on earth, or sorry, in existence, you get to do whatever? Because then we're not talking about morals anymore. We're not talking about what's right or wrong anymore. You are literally saying that, hey, you're the most powerful being, you get to do whatever. That's totally different, by the way. And then me and you would have a different discussion, right? Because if you're saying the most powerful being gets to do whatever, then all right, we're just talking that most powerful being can be evil, by the way. All right, hold on. We got a weeping spirit coming in. Let's go. Hey, how you doing, man? Thanks for chiming in. Oh, let me get my headset on. I forgot. Let me mess up my hair now. All right, you there? You might be muted. Check your microphone settings.
Wait a minute, I'm trying to.
There you go. There you go. We got you.
But I'm not here.
Oh, he left. All right, maybe he'll be back. Maybe he'll be back. All right, so we'll see. You got to come back because you made me put the headset on, and now my hair is messed up, and I can't take the headset back off. But I would rather believers at first, to be fair, but it's like he was on there for a second. Just because I wanna hear, I really want to hear what we were just talking about. Like, why does God not have a a responsibility? Like, right? Like, why does God have no responsibility for its creation? To see if who was that, by the way? Yeah, Weeping Spirit. Yeah, if you get a chance, call back in, man. I hope I didn't scare you off. It's just such an interesting thing, man. And if I can have like an honest conversation with someone about that, this still ties into the whole Jesus story not making sense, by the way. And that's how we got onto this subject, because why would God need to send, why does God have a son in the first place? But anyways, why why does God need to send his son to die? Right? It just, I don't know, man. And what really happens, if you look in the history books, the story that of Jesus looks a lot like other stories that were going on during that time. So that makes a lot of sense. The fact that this story um, ties into other stories that were made back then. Oh, it's because these people that lived back then were all making their stories like that. It's kind of like this, and this might make you guys think. If you look at different since movies started, right? If you look at different eras in movies, they all were making the same type of movies because that's how people were telling, or that's how directors were telling their stories in the 80s or the 70s or the 90s, like, or the early 2000s. All movies look the same. And it's because as human beings, our culture, how it works is we create the stories that are around us, right? So it makes sense that the biblical story looks exactly like other stories that were around at the time. It makes sense. It's right there for us to just be honest about it. But because we attach this fear to it, it's really just fear. Because we attach this fear to this story, now this story is different. Right, but why would God need this plan, Goodwit? Like, why would God need a plan? Why, right? Unless you're going to tell me, which some people have, is God is not all powerful. God is just this being that is the most powerful, but it's still restrained to like the universe, like we are. And then we might be having a more honest conversation again, right? But I don't think you can have it all ways, right? We can't say that God's all powerful, all loving, omniscient, and this still goes on. Like, we have to take one of God's powers away from the reality that we live in. Oh man, we're not gonna get a caller back in here. Weeping Spirit, did I scare you off, man? I apologize, dude. I didn't know. I thought I didn't think I was being mean or anything. But I don't know. It's just something to think about, man. Guys, don't forget hit that like button. Give me some thumbs up. Share the content, all that good stuff. So I feel like this is a good subject, by the way. So I would love to talk to somebody about it. And we're going to stick to the subject here as far as why aren't we holding God responsible for anything? That also includes why the Jesus story doesn't make any sense. This ties into that. So don't think I'm getting off topic. I am on topic. The fact that God needs to do anything should make no sense to anyone. And as I pointed out before, we don't live our especially in the United States. I think we're all BSing when it comes to this story because no one wants the United States or sorry, no one wants the no one wants the United States where people are responsible for anything. Right? No, I guess every society, but I'm just saying United States because I live here. But no one wants a society where everybody is not responsible for anything. Right? Yet you are telling me that the most powerful being on earth is not responsible for anything. Let our court systems be that way, and let's see how many of you guys like that. I don't know like what do you mean guilty? Like if you're responsible, sure, I guess you're guilty. Right? I guess. But I don't think guilty necessarily means bad in the way, right? Because I can be guilty of being loving. I don't know what the hell is guilty. Let me look up the definition. Let me see. Because I think you can be guilty, but it can be good, right? Guilty. All right, let's look it up. Oh, now it's bringing me Bible stuff. I just want the damn definition. I'm pretty sure you can be guilty and it'd be good. Blameworthy, at fault, are legally morally responsible. I don't think that means bad. Like I can be blamed for doing something good. I just don't think we use the word blame for that. But technically, it would be the same thing. I can be at fault for something good happening, but we just don't use it that way in our culture. So yes, I will answer your question now. Now that I know the definition, I am saying God is guilty of many things. I mean, and like I said, we're pretending that this is all real at the moment, which is why I'm saying it doesn't make sense. If this was just a story, I wouldn't say it doesn't make sense. Actually, I would say it doesn't make sense because some stories are stupid, right? I think we're getting somewhere. This is an interesting topic. I'm glad this kind of switched to that because it's something that I think about or have thought about a lot. And that is so true, man. We treat each other like crap. We don't give each other the benefit of the doubt, but we give an all powerful being all of the benefit of the doubt. And it's probably just because you're scared of it. And you would give, I don't know, let's say there was you guys watch the show. God damn it, what's the show with what's his name? God dang it. The Boys. Okay. The Boys. Like the reason that guy, or I forget his name, but the reason he got away with everything is because he was so damn powerful. And no one wanted to tell him that he did anything wrong. I'm not going to do any spoilers, by the way. But it's the same concept. But as we're watching that show, even though that is the most all powerful being, we can recognize that it's a bad guy. Homelander, thank you. It's a bad guy, man. Why is that a bad guy? He does the same things that God does, which is choose when to punish and choose when to let go, and only not punish when somebody bows to him. That is literally God. But everybody's like, oh no, Homelander's evil, God's not. Work with me here, guys. Come on, let's go. Work with me here. I'm gonna preach to y'all tonight. No, I'm just kidding. Like I said, I'm gonna be honest about this stuff, man. I'm gonna call out contradictions. I'm gonna do that. Well, no, of course he didn't create it, but he's just all powerful, right? So, okay, Buck, are you saying that the creator can do anything with its creation? I would disagree. I do not think that. I think you have a responsibility, right? I think you have a responsibility as a creator. You have more responsibility than your creation, right? So like we can go both ways on this. You have more responsibility as the creator than your creation. And guess what? You have a responsibility when you have a baby. Your baby's not as responsible until it gets to a certain age, right? It's the same concept. We treat God so differently. If you're a parent, you have a baby and you just leave your baby to go do whatever, you're a bad parent. God left us to do whatever, God's a bad parent. We have to be able to equate these things together, man. We can't be scared to say this. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, don't be scared to say that. That's true. It's just true. You can't create something and then just let it go and you're not responsible for it. That's not how it works. That's not how we build our societies. You would never want a society that way. Either way, like I know, Book, that you believe there's limits, but either way, God's still at fault. It's God's fault, even if God has limits. Because God should have never been playing with toys that it can't control. Like there should you're responsible for playing with toys that you don't know how to use. Right? So that's there needs to be an honest conversation about that, all right? Oh, you say you understand? Wait, you see what I'm saying, but do you agree with what I'm saying? That's the key. Do you agree with it? Where's Mrs. Buck at? She in here? I'm just kidding. I'm just messing with you, bro. Oh, you got to go now. All right, man. Hey, appreciate you as always, man. Thank you very much. Thanks for chiming in. Enjoy your concert. Enjoy the Beatles. Hey, Buck's about to go have a fun time, man. He don't care about what we're saying. He's about to go watch the Beatles. Not the real Beatles, obviously, but gonna have a good time. Hey, drive safe if you drink. All that good stuff. Y'all be safe out there, brother. Oh, one of them's gonna be there. Okay, that's cool. Well, have fun, bro. All right, so avoid cops. Back to it, man. All right, who wants to hop in? I'll even take a non-believer caller just to get their take on it. It'll be a quick take, but if you want to chime in on the discussion about what I was just talking about, go ahead and join the Discord since we can't get any believers to join. There's the link for you if you want to jump in. Gravity doesn't need God to manually pull objects down every second. I'm actually curious what you mean by that. If I was already driving away, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not bringing it back. If I noticed right there, I would say something. Like, that just is what it is. If I'm almost home and I notice they gave me, because I don't really check my food when I get it, so I would be the type of guy, I would be home and I'm not bringing the food back. That's not happening. But if you noticed in the drive-through, yeah, I think you did good. Now, if it's like from the grocery store, I think you can just easily bring it back the next time. But even that is kind of like, I don't know. And if I knew they were going to throw it away, then it's like, do you have a responsibility to just eat it then? I don't know. If I was still by the store, yeah, I would go ahead and turn around. But I'm not gonna lie, bro. If I'm in the car driving home, not happening. And here's the thing too. I'm actually pretty fair about this. If it's missing something and I'm driving away, I'm still not going back. So let me be clear on that one. Like, if I'm missing something, fuck it. I'll call and try to get it back later. Like, so like either way, the whole point is like I'm already in the car. I hate driving already. I'm gone. So even if my order sucks, it just sucks. Man, I really want to get somebody in on this topic. Don't be scared, guys. I thought we had somebody and they left. I'm kind of sad about that. Weeping something. Are you still here, bro? Everybody gets their morals from the same thing, even a believer, because they have no way of actually, let's just say God's for real. They have no proof of actually talking to God, which means they think the same way I do, which means they get their morals exactly the same way that anyone else does. Now they could be right. Like, let's just say they're God's real and they could just guess correctly, but they still get their morals from me, or sorry, from me. they still get their morals from the same place I get them, which is our surroundings, our society, and that's why morals change throughout history. Morals are obviously subjective, and that's why they just change throughout time. I think first and foremost, everybody bases it. God, why can't I talk? Bases it on. God dang it! I feel like I'm recording a video right now. You know how many retakes you have to do when you're making a video? Hey, oh God, I need to start doing blooper reels. By the way, like on my videos, because sometimes there's certain words that it just won't freaking come out, and I have to retake like 10 times, and it's hilarious when I rewatch it. And you'll see my eyes start rolling. Anyways, everyone gets their morals from societies that they're in. Now, whether you disagree or agree, it doesn't matter. You still start to get your morals from judging the society that you're in. Right? Like, so I think that's really obvious. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, even non-believers, everybody gets their morals from themselves. You judge other people and what they do, and you come up with a moral, right? Like, I judge what you do, and I don't like it, or I like it, and I'm like, thumbs up or thumbs down. That's it. It's pretty simple. At least I think it's pretty simple. And that's why the Bible even falls short on morals, because the men that created it, and it's all men, by the way, which should be your first hint that it's bullshit. The men that created it, there's no coincidence that all of the morals fall onto their society. Like, it's just, I don't know, it's just so obvious. There's nothing in the Bible that like transcends anything, right? It literally is. Oh, of course you guys said that because you guys were ancient men in whatever 4,000 or 5,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, and there's no coincidence that it got a little bit better from the Moses times to the New Testament times. It didn't get that much better, by the way, but it's a little bit better. Oh, that makes sense because society was changing, right? It's so simple, man. If this story wasn't presented as some life or death story, I believe all of us in this chat would agree with what I'm saying. But the fact that this story is presented as you will go burn in hell or not, people refuse to look at it truthfully. And I don't think that's anyone's fault, by the way, because a lot of us were just, it's fear, man. Fear does a lot. And when you're scared of something, there is no way you're looking at it objectively. And that goes in so many things. That can be like racism, prejudice. There's so many things that are proof of what fear does. When you fear some shit, you act stupid. Like, you act dumb. And you can be right sometimes, right? Sometimes it's right to be scared of that person that you're racist towards, but you're not really right for the right reason. The Bible definitely says be afraid. Oh, okay, yeah. Then it tells you to burn in hell. All right. I'm with you on that. I was like, the Bible definitely scares the shit out of you. And like, think of it that way. Why would an all-powerful God need to scare the hell out of you? Once again, this story doesn't make sense, man. We have an all-powerful being that needs to scare the shit out of you. Does that make sense? Or does it make sense if men wrote it? It makes sense if men wrote it because I can't control you really as a man. I'd have no power. The only power I have over you is what you give me, right? So I'm going to create a story that scares you because I'm the way out of it. I mean, I guess you're saying the Bible isn't Christian then, because the Bible teaches Jesus even scares the hell out of you. Like, what is Revelations? Isn't that Jesus telling John what's going to happen? Like, is Jesus not Christian? Like, let's talk about that, I guess. I guess Jesus isn't a Christian. Yeah, but I'm saying, like, even Jesus scares you, right? Like, let's focus on that for a second since we switched to that topic. Jesus scares you. All right, I'm going to run to the bathroom. I'll let you guys I don't know what word I want to use. I'll let you guys ponder on that real fast, and I'll be back. All right, back at it. Who wants to admit that God has some fault in this? Can we do that? Can we admit that God has a little bit of fault in what's going on? Who can admit? Let's do a poll. Let's do a poll. Who can admit that for me? Who can be honest? There we go. Let's see. Start poll. Let's see. Let's see who can be honest out there. Like, we're gonna pretend, even if you're a non-believer, like, just pretend that this is true. Right? We're gonna pretend. And if you disagree, now I want you to join the Discord and explain to me why you disagree. Wait, why is the poll tricky? Is Kim Jong Un? Yes, I don't know. Like, what do you mean? He is at fault for many things. Wait, are you guys saying I worded it weird? I could have worded it weird. Explain to me. I feel like I worded it okay. Is he at fault for anything, right? All right, then credence, it sounds like you're just saying if you're the most powerful, you can do whatever you want, right? And like, I'll take that honest answer too. I think we would just have a different conversation, but I'm all about the honest answers, man. So are you saying the most powerful thing can do whatever? Because then we can go back to the Homelander example. And I would say that a God that's going to punish you has a responsibility to has a responsibility. I can just say it like that. I mean, we would hold anybody else responsible. That's why I'm saying it's just strange to me. Like, we would hold anyone else responsible in this kind of scenario, yet somehow this is different. And I don't think anyone can explain why it's different. Like, say the creator of this first spaceship to go to Mars creates it and it's faulty. We are going to blame the designer if people die. Especially if that designer knew there was a fault in it. Like if that designer allowed all the astronauts to get on the ship knowing that it was faulty, we're definitely blaming the designer. Devil's advocate, God is an exception. Sure, I guess, but that doesn't make God good. All right, good wit. How can a perfect being create anything that isn't perfect? Uh-oh, we got Patal back in the house. What's up, Patal? Welcome back. You never answer my questions, but I appreciate you showing up. Thank you, Patal. If you blame God, what did he get from it? Just being honest. I've always, even when I was a believer, by the way, like I always said, man, I got a lot of questions for God. Like when I was in like total fear of God, I still was like, no, God made me this way. I have questions. Well, Batal, that doesn't make sense because atheists don't blame God. Like atheists don't believe in God, Batal. They're not blaming God. They're not blaming God. I don't know if you know what an atheist is. But welcome back, Patal. Welcome back. Yeah, I see you're right back on your thing. Do you just come here to just preach? I say, I don't know. We're gonna become friends, by the way. I'm gonna get you in this Discord one day. I am going to speak to you one day. Channel the mountain are heavy, and God can lift those. In North Korea, I wonder how many worship the supreme leader out of fear. I mean, I think you're forced to. There's a lot of Christians that don't really believe. I know this for sure. But in your community, you are forced to pretend. And I wonder what they think. Well, I guess they don't believe, so it doesn't matter. Because I've always been the thing of like, you can't lie to God. So it's just like, just be honest. You can't lie to God anyway. Who cares? If you question shit, just ask. God already knows your questions, which is why I came to the conclusion when I was like a full believer. I was like, I'm just going to ask God, what the fuck up, bro? Like, literally, that's what I used to say. I'm going to be like, God, this is some bullshit. Like, don't make no sense. God didn't warn anybody about hell because God just sends people to hell knowing that God created everyone knowing who would go to hell. That's not a warning. It's not a warning at all. Humans didn't choose to be here, Patal. Did you choose to be born? If you did, okay. Here's my thing about quoting scriptures. Um, since I believe I could get anyone quoting scriptures to admit that men wrote it, the scriptures no longer matter. Like I could get you if you called in right now, I would get you to admit that men wrote the scriptures. So when you quote scriptures, it means nothing. Also, there's tons of scriptures that were left out of the Bible. Why is that? I say I'm gonna make y'all be honest, man. Is that why y'all scared to call in? Because I'm gonna make you be honest. Yeah, men built my house. That's why it will fucking fall apart, by the way, because men built it. That's why it falls apart. Just like the Bible. The Bible falls apart because men wrote it. Like when I say man, that's usually woman and men, but no, men wrote it. right? No women wrote the Bible. That don't make y'all question anything. Literally, no women wrote in the Bible. Oh, that makes sense because in that time, women weren't allowed to do anything. Come on, guys. We got to be better than this, man. Like, we gotta be better than this, man. It's so obvious. It's so obvious. We gotta be better, man. Like, we really gotta be better, guys. Literally, no woman wrote anything in the Bible. Like, let's talk about that for a second. Oh my god. No, it says this generation. This generation is key, right? When we're talking about Jesus's lie. And honestly, I don't think Jesus lied. Like, say, like, because I've never gotten away from the thinking Jesus was truly a person. I think Jesus really believed what Jesus was saying. And the only reason I say that, and I won't call this person out, but there's a story of someone that I know that really believed some insane stuff that was going on in their lives. So people can really believe stuff, man. It doesn't make it true. So it's like Jesus could have been a real person, and Jesus really could have thought that he was God. Like, he really could have, man. Like, we have to, like, I want to be honest about everything. I'm not just trying to be bullshitting on anything. Like, there really could have been a person that thought he came from God, and that's it. That's it. That could be true, man. I mean, Patal, I don't know. You're never gonna admit anything. So I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, bro. I said, if I just want people to be honest, man. That's all I want. I'm not gonna get you to stop believing, but just be honest. And you'll still believe, by the way. That's what's so weird. Why I don't understand why people are honest. Because no matter what I say, you are going to keep believing anyway. So why not still just be honest? Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm just saying lying is different than thinking you're telling the truth. It is different. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, but you're not really answering, Patal. Like, I bet you don't go. I bet you're probably a nicer person than you are in chat. I doubt you go about your life talking to people how you're talking to them and never recognizing what somebody else says. Like, I really don't believe you act that way. And it's kind of unfortunate for me because I love to talk to people. I love to talk to everybody. That's why I try to be kind to everybody. And I would love to, like, actually have a conversation with you, but you don't allow me to, and I don't know why. And maybe one day you will, right? So I'll continue to be nice to you in hopes of one day truly having a conversation with you because I just love to have conversations, man. Like, I love to have conversations with people. Anybody that knows me, like, in real life, this is real life. Like, I love to have conversations. Yeah, but I actually would say even in my times, I would say you're doing God a disservice because you aren't really, you're not really in the conversation. And when I was preaching, like when I was that kind of evangelical, I was not just saying stuff. I was actually listening to what people would say and countering what they would say with scripture, but not just spitting out scripture, because the whole point of what I was doing when I was trying to evangelize people was to convince them. Like just saying a scripture or just saying they're wrong will never work. So you aren't doing God's work. Like you aren't doing it correctly. What is the verse that you should be always be prepared? Hold on, what is that? Let me give that to you, Patal, so you can stop doing what you're doing. I'm gonna get it for you, Patal. And then maybe you'll stop. All right, got it. Hold on. I'm gonna put it up. And then maybe Patal will stop doing it because you're not doing what the Bible says. All right, hold on, Patal. I got you. I told you this, like, I'm kind. I'm being kind to you here. All right, here you go. Let me get my notebook. And Patal, after you see this verse, you have to stop doing what you're doing because now this is biblical. Hold up. Does it say the whole thing here? Let me do this. Oh, we need more. Hold on. This is a long one. All right, Patal. Do I need to zoom in for you? All right, let me zoom in and scroll. That's for you, Patal. Read that. And now you have to stop doing what you're doing because the Bible says so, Patal. What does that say, Patal? Can you type that in chat for me? You are always supposed to be prepared, and you aren't prepared. You are supposed to always be ready to give answers, and you aren't giving answers, Patal. So you, in your own doing, are not doing God's work. And you don't do it your own way. If we scroll up, you say you do it your own way. No, that is not what God says, Patal. Read this. God does not tell you to do it your own way. That is wrong. You are wrong. So are you gonna answer this? Because you are not doing it correctly. You told us that you do it your own way. That is speaking against the Bible. I'm ashamed of you, Patal. I'm ashamed. I am so ashamed. First Peter is ashamed. Do you mean atheist parents? Because again, Patal, if they're atheist parents, they don't think God is real. Of course, they're having babies. The believers that are having babies are actually the bad ones. Like, I don't think you get what you're saying. Oh my gosh. If a believer has a baby, they are actually bad. Oh my God. Like if an atheist has a baby, it doesn't matter. They don't think it's real. If a believer has a baby, you are worse. Like, you know what's coming and you still have a baby and you believe it. Like, that's worse. Like, come on, guys. Let's stop being stupid. Please, let's stop being stupid. We're better than this, man. Everybody in here is better than this. Stop just saying crap because you have to believe, man. Be smarter than this. This is just stupid. Gotta be better, man. Like, we really gotta be better. I don't know. I'm gonna keep saying that. We gotta be better. I don't care if you believe, by the way. I really don't. But if that is the way you believe, you are not helping society. The fact that you can't recognize that an atheist having a baby is different than a believer having a baby blows my mind. The believer having a baby is more wrong than the atheist having a baby. The believer knows the world is about to end in some fiery hell pit and that their child could eventually go to hell. The believers are the ones that should never have babies. Oh my God, what are we talking about? I don't know. I'm just at a loss right now. Wait, how is what different? Like, so you guys need to just call in, man, because I got to figure out what y'all are talking about when you're typing and shit. Just call in and have a damn conversation. Stop being scared, man. Hop up. If you're talking about what I said, if somebody does not believe and they have a child, it's different than a believer that thinks the end of the world is coming and that their son or child or son, I always say son, I'm sorry. If their child can go to hell and they still have a baby, that is a worse person. Like it is literally a worse person to believe that your child can go to hell and still have a baby than not believing in God and having a baby. Like, what are we talking about, guys? Oh, and now you're switching the subject because we weren't talking about global warming. The comment was um atheists atheists say like something about God or whatever, and that's what my whole point is. Atheists aren't thinking about God when they have a baby, and there's tons of atheists that aren't having babies because of how the world is. That's why, at least in the United States, we're having a problem with birth rates. There are a lot of people not having babies. I recycle, but I heard like I did a lot of research. They don't really recycle shit, y'all. Like, I still do it because it's just like, I don't know, but I heard that they don't recycle half the shit. Believers are definitely considered or start thinking about the end of the world. Look at our government right now, which is full of believers that are trying to control everything. Then no believer should try to be in government by your scenario, but a bunch of believers want to take over the government. So I think you're wrong there. Like if and I'm with you there. I wonder why believers care about anything. I have a video on that. I talked about that. I wonder why believers aren't just poor. Why aren't believers poor? How about that one? Let's talk about that. I bet y'all don't want to talk about that. Nobody wants to talk about that. Why aren't believers the homeless? Why aren't believers homeless? Oh, because they care about the same shit that non-believers care about. You're not poor if you're on here typing on a phone, bro. You're not. You don't know what poor means. Then why do you have an RV? If only God matters. Why do you have anything? Like, why do you have no, seriously, why do you have anything if God is the only thing that matters? Jesus said, give up everything and follow me. I like how we're getting here, by the way, guys. And don't, like I said, what we're talking about, I will be tough, but I do enjoy these conversations. So I want to be clear on that. I will be tough on what we talk about, but I do enjoy the conversation. I mean, I think like everybody, right? This is where Christians and atheists are the same. They read the Bible and they pick out things. And I don't think many Christians will admit that, but that's what happens. Hey, we got somebody that wants to call in. Hey, don't make me give you this call in link and you don't call in, okay? Somebody already made me put on this headset. And then now I messed up my hair. Wait, what's not true? Credence, you need to just call in, man. I feel like you say a lot of stuff that's interesting, but I can't really be honest with you because I don't know what you're saying all the time. And I don't know if you're talking to me, so all right, guys, we have maybe about 40 more minutes. You guys don't forget to click the like button. Give me my thumbs up and stuff. I gotta eat. I haven't eaten. So want to eat and have some time to watch a movie with my wife or something. So if you guys want to talk, let's hop in now. Let's get it done and let's have a conversation. Um, it should, Cloud. Hmm. Let me make sure the link is correct. I'll post it directly in chat, but this is the link, brother. That is the link. I've had other people join it, so definitely works. I'm not big enough to have some like call-in thing, by the way. I know the line has like better shit. Maybe they don't. I don't know. Maybe I think they use Zoom too. Technically, I could just use Zoom, but nobody else has had an issue joining today. So, oh, excuse me, guys. While we're waiting, just to let you guys know, got a couple of videos coming out tomorrow, so I appreciate you guys' support with that. I'm gonna. It was hard for me yesterday to add videos for today, but definitely gonna make sure to keep posting videos. We had one video like pop off a couple of days ago. Oh, that sucks. Can you send me your Discord? Here, let's do this. Send me your Discord invite. Let me see. All right, yeah, actually, I don't know if you want to put your Discord in the chat. Either way, honestly, you would have your Discord in the chat. I can post my name in the chat because obviously I don't care. So let me see. So send me. That's weird that it's not working, but that is my name in Discord. So if you want to try to send me a friend invite, it's really weird that it's not working. By the way, so I don't know what to tell you. That's strange. So send me a friend invite and then we'll see if that works. I'm curious what you have to say since everybody else is scared. Can we get somebody else to jump in and just check? Like, you don't have to say anything, but all right, you just come in and say hello. Just so I know this is actually working. Is there any willing participant to join the Discord link to make sure it's working? It was working earlier, so just want to check. Who is willing to click that link and join? I don't teach my kids anything. I just teach them to be good people, and whatever they choose to believe is whatever they choose to believe. I'm a very big advocate of that. I don't talk to them about these kind of things. I just teach them to be good people. If they choose to believe in whatever, that's their choice. All right, well, looks like we don't have our one guy joining. Oh yeah, I got some kids, man. I said I try not to poison their brain with my thoughts and allow them to think of their own things and build their own thoughts in life. think it's the only fair thing you can do. Like, I'm trying to be fair to them. All right, let's look at this poll because I'm seeing this poll looking horrible. Is God at fault for anything? Only 58%. I know this isn't a lot of people in here, which is why it's crazy. 42% say no. Only thing I guide them on is like being honest and fair to other humans. I don't guide them on God or anything like that. Like if they believe in God, that's cool. Like I would talk to them about it eventually, but I would rather them come up with their own conclusions first. And then when they're adults, we could talk about it if they want to talk about it. Yeah, I got 12 votes too. 12 votes, which is almost everybody here. So we got everybody to vote. I'm just like, come on, guys. I hope you treat your neighbors the way you treat God, then. Learn the wrong thing about God? Because that's the only thing I said I don't focus on. Like I teach them, and I teach them in the way of like, hey, what would you want to be done to you? And then we talk about it in that way. Oh, you don't like the way that feels? Okay, maybe we shouldn't treat other people that way. It's really simple. Like very simple. It's like, oh, you don't like how that feels, right? Yeah. I wonder why. Hey, we lost our caller. I thought somebody was going to call in. All right, guys, we got about 8 more minutes. Get your feelings in. I need to go eat. I'm going to go eat and then probably watch some videos. I watch a lot of debate videos. Since we're winding down, why don't you guys give me some of your suggestions for reading? I plan to take a trip to Barnes and Noble soon and find some books to read. So whether it's a religious book or a non-religious book, how about we kind of let me know what books you're reading, what books you think are good to read. And I'm going to take some notes on that because I want to start reading more. Something I want to do as I get older. I think reading is important. You got to keep your brain moving. I'm not like old, but I'm getting older, man. I need to keep my brain going. Patal, you didn't listen to anything about Peter. Patal, tell me Peter 3:1-15. 1 Peter 3:1-15. What does that say, Patal? There's this little known book called the Bible. Check it out. I knew somebody was going to say that, by the way. Which I will. I'm going to get a new Bible pretty soon. And I've read it. I read it front to back 5 times in my life. But it's been a while. You guys don't know how much I used to believe, by the way. If you, I can't even explain it really, but the way I am right now I was the same way when I was a believer. Like, you don't even know. That's why I kind of get on Patal a little bit, because you're not doing what you should be doing, Patal. Like, as going back in my brain as a real believer, you are not helping people come to belief. That's all I can say. The way you're doing it doesn't work. What made me disbelieve is doing more in like, because you first you read the Bible, right? So I read it literally. I'm not joking. Like 5 times, read it front to back, going through all of the Exodus. So and so begot. That was always my. I hated that part, but I read it because I was like, no, you're supposed to read this stuff, man. So you read all the begots, and so after reading it like 5 times, it's like, okay, now I want to understand deeper, and I want to understand how it was made. And then that starts getting you into like the contradictions, right? There's a phrase about like when you go to seminary, like seminary is the place where like people go to die, like, or sorry, where believers die, because once you start learning how this book was put together and how it was structured, you have to start questioning it. And that's why there's so many like Catholic priests that don't really believe like they believe or used to believe, and they just do it. And that's also why there's so many deconverts with when you go to those kind of schools, because you start learning how this shit was put together. Like, you start learning how this shit was put together and you question it, and then you research more. Young literal, I am talking, or I'm sorry, I'm taking a liking to it because bouncing around Christian communities with different translations. Okay. Is that a book? Did I miss something? Where are you researching at? Well, to be fair, it doesn't necessarily change your mind, but I think you start to, if you're really researching, you can admit some parts of the Bible that don't make sense. And hopefully, Credence, if you really are researching, you would at least be able to be honest with me on that. That there's a lot of the Bible that doesn't make sense. Do you know Ace Theo? Let me look it up. Yeah, but when you realize who is telling the message, that I don't know. I don't know what research you've done then. If you're saying message doesn't change, I don't know. Just call in next time or something, because I would like to talk to you about that. Because once you figure out how they put this shit together, the message for sure changes. Let's see. Ace Theo Reader. Yeah, we would just, there's no way we can talk about it over typing, bro. Or up so shit. Knocked over my stuff. There's no way we can talk about it over typing, but if you think doing research doesn't change the message, then I don't know. I disagree. That's what I'll say. I don't, not that I don't know, I disagree. It's strange for me for you to say that. It doesn't change the meaning. I would actually ask you is does it not change the meaning because you don't want it to change the meaning? Um like for me, if you ask me, hey Jay, are you capable of believing again? I would say yes. I don't know if you would ever say that you're incapable of believing. And if you can, that's great. By the way, I'll take that hit as not knowing. But most believers are scared to say that they can't believe. Yeah, but you still didn't answer me. You just said something else. I asked a specific question. Are you able to not believe? Do you think you're able to not believe? It's a yes or a no. You're not able to not believe, then you're not honest, I guess. No, not I guess. If that's what you mean, you are not honest. And I don't know what else to say to that. That's not honest. Yeah, if you don't think you can be wrong, then you aren't what I'm saying. You don't research. It's like saying let me give you an example here, right? I believe my wife loves me. I recognize she could not love me. It could be a lie. Like all real shit. She could literally be lying to me. But I can be honest and recognize both of them, right? You're not being honest to me if you're saying that you could never not believe. I don't know. That doesn't I feel like maybe you're not being honest, dude. Just to be real. Like maybe you really aren't being honest. The fact that you say you could never not believe is weird. Kind of scares me a little bit. I already said that. I said yes. Of course I could believe, man. I know what would make me believe. It just hasn't happened. And I used to believe before any of that happened, and then I like thinks it's just like no, I'm honest, man. I'm not scared of God. I'm not no. Like I'm gonna be honest about it. Even if God is real, I will be honest. I do not believe that the biblical God is true. I don't. And if the biblical God is true, it knows how to make me believe. And I am willing to accept that. Like, real talk, I am. And the fact that you could never not believe is a dishonest comment. You're a nice person. You've been nice to me, and I'm going to be nice by being honest with you. The fact that you say you could never not believe, I think is a dishonest comment. Doesn't mean I don't think you're a nice person. It means I think you're being dishonest. The fact that you don't understand how you can believe something at one moment and not believe it the next is strange to me. That's scary to me, man. I feel for you right there. Like that's scary to me that you don't understand how you can believe something and then not believe it. It troubles me a little bit, man. I would love to talk to you. Oh wait, so then what do you mean? If you believed and didn't believe, then I don't know. Maybe you're confusing me. That doesn't make sense. If you're saying you didn't believe at one point, you could never say you'll always believe again. So I don't know, bro. Maybe you're messing with me, but it's all good. All good. All right, guys, we're coming to an end. Does anybody want to come in and have a conversation? If not, we will be ending pretty shortly. Dean, no, I was talking to Credence. Dean. Dean, you just hopped in, so welcome. All I want is honesty, man. Whether you're a believer or not, I just want honesty. If you can be honest, me and you can be on the same team. If you're dishonest, it really drains me. I don't know. It really drains me when people are dishonest, especially about something like this. I don't know. As I said, I'm not trying to convert people either way. I just want people to be honest. That's it. So, yeah, guys, let's see. Are we on the top of the hour? We are at the top of the hour. So, all right. No. I said, if you are saying that you could never not believe, you are being dishonest. That doesn't, like, how does that not make sense to you? Like, how would you know if you could never not believe? And I would say the same thing to an atheist person that says they could never believe. Like, I would say literally the same thing, and I bet you would be on my side then. So it's just like, no, I am saying if you can't admit that you cannot believe, you are being a dishonest person. All right, I don't know, whatever. Hey, I don't agree with you, dude. That's not honesty. That's not honesty. I don't know what you think honesty is. That's not honesty. Somebody that says they can never be wrong is a dishonest person to me. And like I said, I think you're a cool person. Like, we've been friendly, but as a friendly person, I will be honest with you. Right? Like, if you say that you could never change your mind, that is a dishonest person. And like, I'll talk to you again. Like, by the way, I don't hold grudges. Like, I'm not mad at you. But I'm saying, like, the fact that you saying, like, you could never change your mind is a dishonest person. And I would love for you to convince me otherwise, but that is literally a dishonest person. Because I'm sitting here telling you, I could change my mind. Like, I could change my mind. That is me being honest. I am saying, could you ever not believe in God? You are telling me no. That is not honesty. All right. It's okay. That's it. It is what it is. It's all good, bro. It's all good. Like, I would die for my wife. It does not mean that she would that I believe that she loves me, that I believe that she would never not love me or something. Dying for somebody is irrelevant. I don't get, what is the point of saying that? Like, if you were to ask me, hey Jay, could your wife not love you? I would say yes. Would you say, do you think your wife loves you? I would say yes. That is an honest person. Like, that's just being honest. Like, I can say both at the same time. I don't know. I think to be fair, Credence, I think there's some miscommunication going on, and I'll blame myself for that. Like, maybe I'm miscommunicating. But like I said, you've been friendly. I'm not trying to jump on you. I just think that maybe there's some confusion. Like, so I don't know. I don't know. I think there's a confusion there. I think in any other circumstance, you would agree with me, but for some reason, this one is tough. So, anyways, guys, I appreciate you guys showing up. Thank you very much, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the conversation. I love these in-depth conversations. I do believe you should be able to have these kind of hard conversations, and everybody still be able to move along in society and be kind towards each other. So, thank you guys very much. As always, I'm Jay. Don't forget to throw away your feelings, open your minds, and question your beliefs. You guys take care of each other out there. Peace.